Hey, Trailblazers, this is Jason, your host of the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. Before we jump into our latest episode, I've got some incredible news for you. Are you gearing up for your next big hike or backpacking trip? Well, we at Trailblazing Texas Podcast have partnered up with Trekker Joe's, the ultimate Texas outfitter, to bring you something I feel absolutely special. Listeners, you of the Trailblazing Texas Podcast can now get a one-time 15% off their gear purchases at Trekker Joe's. That's right. Whether you're a first-time customer at Trekker Joe's or a repeat customer like me, you can save big and hit the trails well prepared. So upon checkout, use code TTP15 to claim your 15% discount and in the process support an amazing local Texas business. So happy trails, and don't forget to tell your hiking buddies. Now on with the episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas Podcast, where we embark on a journey through our diverse Texas landscapes and breathtaking trails while always engaging with our amazing Texas hiking community. So settle in, tighten up those bootlaces, and get ready for the thrilling tales awaiting for you on this episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today I am totally pumped for this episode to have the owners of Bear Box Brew in studio, and in my opinion, some of the best coffee on or off the trail. Nate, Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Yeah.
So excited to be here.
Yeah, super pumped to be on with you. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. And I know we talked a little bit about this before we started the recording, but I love these episodes. The listeners know that I love these episodes. I love discovering small businesses that support our hiking and backpacking community, that take on all this risk, whether it's through vocation, providing employment to, some of the small towns that they're located in, or taking on all this financial risk to provide our hiking and backpacking community such wonderful products. There's been times I've teared up talking about these kind of things. Guests have teared up. And for me, as a podcast host, I have the privilege through the video is to see when we go through these episodes with business owners like yourself, the passion that you have, how you answer questions, and just the look in your eye. And man, I sometimes feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. And I wish at some point, maybe I will, is start using the podcast as a video. But I can't thank you all enough for taking the time to come on the podcast. And I really can't wait to get this episode rolling.
We feel the same when we listen to your pods. You can tell that the folks that build these companies are doing it out of a true love for what they're providing, right? And it's never really about the money. It's because they found something that they wanted to fix and that they wanted to provide to other people that enjoy backpacking, hiking, camping. And so, it's easy to resonate with that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. As much as I hate to do this to you, I really love to do this to you. The listeners know what's coming. It's the lightning round.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. These are questions you have not seen. And I don't have anything better than the lightning round. With the state parks, I think I came up with something, but it's just first words that pop in your head, short answers. And if it's not very lightning-y, I don't even know if that's a word. I still haven't looked that up. Don't worry. Through the magic of edit, our listeners are going to be going, dang, they are lightning-y. So are y'all ready?
We are ready.
All right, Emily, you get the first question. Dark roast or medium roast?
Medium for sure.
All right, Nate, trail runners or hiking boots?
Trail runners. I've actually bought a pair of trail running boots just for hiking many times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, Emily, coffee before a hike or at the summit?
Before and at the summit.
Okay, double cup. All right, I love it. Nate, favorite backpacking brand?
Oh, favorite backpacking brand? Bear Box Brew, is that biased?
That's an answer. You could actually say it.
Yeah, let's say Bear Box Brew or Jetboil. I think Jetboil's got a lot of utility in their products that I really like.
All right, cool. Emily, best trail snack to pair with coffee.
Ooh, I like some sort of like sweet cookie or granola bar to go with coffee.
All right, Nate, coffee in silence or with a group with a view?
I really like talking with people, so I'm going to go with a group with a view.
All right. Emily, what is worse, bad coffee or no coffee?
No coffee for sure. But bad coffee is a close second.
Yes, it is. All hotel coffee sucks.
There we go.
And let me tell you, that new order, the Bear Box that I just got, that's going with me. We're leaving to New Orleans on Friday, and that's going to replace the hotel coffee.
Perfect.
Love it, man. Love it. Are you flying?
No, driving.
Okay, all right. Because that's another thing we've seen people use it for too, is on the plane, right? I'll just take some hot water, thanks. I don't need the bean water that you get served on the plane.
Absolutely. All right, Nate, hammock or tent?
Oh, hammock.
All right, Emily, yes or no? Have you ever had a coffee fail on trail?
No.
Nope. All right. Nate, you can expand a little bit. Most embarrassing gear fail.
Most embarrassing gear fail. Honestly, I don't know if my gear, it's a gear failure. It's a lack of gear in general. I think I've been on plenty of camping trips where I have either, packed way too heavy or forgot the right shoes or only have, really short socks, for instance. So I get ankle blisters, stuff like that. I would say I'm more of I will forget a handful of things versus, having something and really messing it up. I just don't have it in the first place.
All right. I hear that. Yeah, I don't know. You can't see this whole wall right here, but it's nothing but gear. So
I love it. Yeah.
I make sure I have it all. And I even get into trouble where I feel guilty not taking a piece of gear. I'm like, oh, this was with me. So I just put it in the car and just take it. I may not use it. So
yeah, my wife's way better about that than I am. So she makes sure that we have everything now. I used to go, backpacking and camping, and I would get out there and not have what I needed. So
nice. All right, Emily, idea coffee camp setup. Is it ultralight or is it the most luxurious kit you can bring?
Well, now it's ultralight and tasty because you can have both now.
All right, I love it. Nate, are you a morning coffee person or an all-day coffee person?
I will be honest with you that I am okay with drinking coffee all day. I don't necessarily feel the effects if I have one at 4 that I won't be able to sleep. So I think I'm good with it all day.
All right. Emily, coffee smells better or tastes better?
Ooh, there's nothing like that first smell you get before you take a sip.
To get ready for this episode, I have a bag of Bear Box Brew that I have opened up, and I was just, all right, I was getting ready.
We love that. That was our intent, right? You should be able to open that bag and be like, oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, it is. All right, Nate, most luxurious item that you take on trail?
Ooh, luxurious item. I would say we've done a pretty good job of packing we have a blow up air mattress. It's just like your normal backpacking blow up, but it's a high quality one we paid a lot of money for that we really like, versus the, what do they call it? The CCP foam sleep pads. And we just really enjoy that. We've got a double for it. So I would say it's pretty luxurious. It kind of feels like an air mattress.
So for me, I always take flavored creamer, and a camp chair. And I'll probably edit this part out because I'll lose a lot of my friends. I'll get a lot of slack in that. So I don't know if that'll make the cut.
Hey, as long as it's going on your own back, it doesn't matter, right?
That's what I say. All right, Emily. So this one's for you. I think we got Nate's answer to it. Are you a 1-cup person or endless refills?
Ooh, I've gone back down to a 1-cup girl because it was getting a little out of hand for a little bit there, especially when we were trying all the new beans and trying to down select. But I actually get really bad migraines, so I had to cut it back to 1 cup a day to try and scale that back. So it's tough, but that's the goal.
Yeah. So, I mean, at first you're going through the shakes. Yeah, I've been there.
Yep.
All right, Nate, what is your most irrational trail fear?
Ooh, a rational trail fear. I think it's if you do like a morning hike or you come down a little bit later than you expected, and you've got your headlamp on, and I'm always expecting to turn my head and see something fairly large with big eyes. And even though there's not really a high chance of that happening, it's always in the back of my head.
Mine are hogs.
Oh, the Texas hogs.
Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes from Trailhead 1 and then about an hour from Trailhead 15 of the longest trail in Texas. I usually start hiking really early in the morning, 5:30 or 6. And when you scare, I don't know what the proper terminology for a bunch of hogs are, but I'm just going to say herd. When you scare up a herd of hog, and you could Google Texas hiker attacked by hogs, probably it's never happened, but man, hogs and then ticks. Those are my biggest irrational fears.
Yeah, those are just straight rational, man. Like, yeah, ticks and hogs. They're pretty aggressive, no?
I think they can be if you get between the mom and the babies, then I think
Okay, all right.
all bets are off. So, all right, I love these next two questions, and this kind of will put you on the spot. Emily, if Bear Box Brew had a trail name, what would it be?
Ooh, something like tasty flavor, like something to
right.
kind of show how good it tastes while you're out there.
All right. Nate, similar question. If Bear Box Brew had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, a theme song? Oh, you know the band Turnstile at all?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're kind of like a rock band. That's how I feel when I drink Bear Box Brew. I would
Okay.
Some of their new stuff's it's just you drink a Bear Box Brew and you're ready to just take on a trail.
All right, I love it. Emily, who makes better coffee, backpackers or baristas?
Ooh, I'll give it to the baristas. They know what they're doing.
All right. Nate, in your opinion, what makes trail coffee special versus at-home coffee?
I think it's the resourcefulness you have to have a good one. Yeah, like at home, you've got 120-volt electric. You can have that big barista setup. You're gonna have a fridge that you can put all of your your goodies in that you want to top your coffee with. But when you're out on trail, you don't have any of that. So, being as resourceful as possible and making yourself a good cup no matter what.
All right, I love it. Emily, cold brew in the backcountry, is it genius or overkill?
I think it's genius, but I might be biased.
All right. I agree. All right, this is the controversy question of the episode. Nate, this is yours. If you get it wrong, as I told Anastasia with Kula Cloth, I'm just going to ignore it and move on.
Perfect.
If you get it right, I'll give you the thumbs up and we'll keep going.
Amazing.
Best for hydration, water bottles or hydration bladders?
I'm going to go with hydration bladders.
And I'm just going to move on to the next question. This question is for both of you. Emily, you get to go first. This is actually the most important question of the podcast. No one in the probably year that I've been asking this question at the end of the lightning round has gotten it wrong, but it definitely will dictate our duration and our direction of the podcast. It could end rather abruptly, or we gonna hit all the questions that we plan to.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I'm even kind of sweating asking this question because I know at some point somebody will get it wrong. But all right, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite of all time Texas hiking podcast that you've been a guest on?
Definitely the Trailblazing Texas Podcast.
Right
ding,
there.
ding, ding.
I love it. Nate, what about you?
I'm going to go with Trailblazing Texas Podcast.
Oh, man, let me tell you, it warms my heart. I love it. And I can't thank you all enough. And for my friends, I never really ask that question because they'll make up some answer just to not say this podcast. And then I don't know what I would do. So, yeah, I leave them out of it. All right. So let's get into the episode. And I think before we talk your life before Bear Box Brew as it relates to coffee, that whole process of discovering the product that you have now, the testing, what the community means to you, and why would you even take on all this risk for us? I would really like, and I think the listeners would have an interest in, how did you two get into hiking and backpacking? Like, kind of what that journey looks like for you. And I don't know, Emily, if you want to kind of kick us off, and then Nate, you can jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, to be honest, Nate kind of got me into a lot of it. We met when we were interning at a large company in Minnesota one summer. That's kind of how our journey got started. And there's a lot of awesome trails there, a lot of awesome lakes. You can kind of go up north and explore the north shore of Minnesota. And one summer when he was like, do you want to go camping with me in the UP of Michigan? I was like, what? Are you crazy? Like, we're going to sleep on the ground? No. But he dragged me out there and we had like one of the most wonderful trips ever. We were up in the, like I said, north island of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, right along Lake Superior. Spent one night in a tent and then one night car camping. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like waking up in nature, just getting to be out there in the trees with the views. It was a really great time. So it's kind of how our journey started. And from there, it's only grown and we've done more and more of it over the years.
Yeah, just had to show her the way. Right, like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I guess my journey probably more starts in college, but up in the same area, right? So Emily talks about going up to the northern portion of Minnesota. That's where I was born and raised, and went to college in Duluth, which is in the northeastern corner. And a lot of what we do, outside of class is outside of going to the bars, obviously, was was going out and getting into the northern wilderness of Minnesota. You see on the Voyager Dark Roast the homage to Voyager National Park, right? And that is the national park that borders Canada and Minnesota, very close to it in Duluth. We spend a lot of time getting together after class and hitting the trails and camping outdoors. So that's kind of how it started for me. And it was mostly a great way to just get to know the guys that I started that college journey with, and it kind of just grew from there. Now we're in California and we have the luxury of going out and enjoying, the multitude of national parks that are here, and lots of great BLM land that is readily accessible for us.
Yeah, so when you did the contest about guessing the national park, I had Guadalupe Mountains. I knew it was going to be Guadalupe Mountains, but I was close, right? It's only about 2,000 miles away, so.
Right.
Well south.
Yeah. All right, Emily, do you remember, and can you tell us about your very first, what you would consider your first real backpacking trip?
Yeah. First real backpacking trip was actually in Voyageurs National Park, funnily enough. We did this big group trip with about 10 other coworkers. One of our friends planned the whole thing, planned getting the canoes and what island we were going to paddle to, where we were going to stay. So we essentially paddled about 4 miles out in a canoe, stayed on an island for 3 nights, packed all our stuff on our backs and then into the canoes, and had a great time out there. We actually had a pretty funny story on the way back. It was late fall, so a lot of the boats were out of the water already. We were kind of at the tail end of the season when it could honestly start snowing in Minnesota, so there's not a ton of people out. And there were like 4-foot waves, white caps. And we're just standing there like, oh my gosh, we have to get back to the mainland. How are we going to do this? We tried calling a couple of outfitters in the area, and everyone had taken their pontoons out of the water for the season, so no one could come rescue us. And our friend actually sat us down and gave us a little pep talk. And he's like, you know what, we got to do it. Everyone's going to paddle hard. You're not going to stop. And if you capsize, don't grab your stuff. It's going in the water. And I was like, wow, this is what it's like out here.
I'll never hear the end of this, by the way, Jason, because the planning committee of all of these people that we had to do this trip, there is an option, because we are only going a short distance into the national park, that, some outfitters will have pontoons available for you. You could rent one, spend your, your time boating, getting out to your campsite, and then, doing that. But I will take the blame for that. Just said, why would we do that? Why wouldn't we just go enjoy the entire thing in the canoe, the full experience, right? And I guess we did get that. We did definitely get that.
So how bad was it getting back?
It was bad, but with enough, local beers and gusto and laughter, you can do a lot, and you can paddle into the wind and into little caves and gullies to make sure that you stay upright and
Oh
take your
my
breaks.
I think
gosh.
only one girl cried.
Yeah, I think only one girl cried. Yeah.
It's not a trip unless somebody cries.
Yeah. And it's the best. It's good bonding, right? That's the point.
That's right. Absolutely. So Nate, what about you? What is your very first backpacking trip?
Very first backpacking trip was probably in Duluth. A handful of my buddies that I was roommates with. There's a popular trail called
Bean and Bear?
Bean and Bear. Thank you. And it's two Great Lakes. It's about a 8 to 9 mile trek. And we've camped out there a handful of times, but never gone as far as we had. All the way to the lakes, spent a couple nights there and came back. And that was probably my first experience with backpacking. And again, that's like I said in the very beginning of the pod, we didn't have all the gear, right? We're broke college kids. It's just as much as you can fit on your back. Can you fit 8 Coors Lights in there as well and not get tired, for the next 2 days? We've evolved now, obviously. And, you need the right gear and you pack as light as possible, but that's the learning experience, right?
Absolutely. So before Bear Box Brew was an idea, before the experiments, before any of that, what was your coffee like, the setup, all that on trail or camping?
For sure. We had actually tried a lot of different things during camping, but I would say our go-to was either the French press attachment on the jet boil, where you make it right in the jet boil and then kind of tip it out. It was okay, it tasted fine, but you get some grounds in there sometimes, not super desirable. We tried the instant coffee once or twice, but that just did not do it for us at all. And then we actually experimented with cold brew towards the end before Bear Box Brew was invented. We make like a big pitcher in our own fridge before we went on the trip and then fill up water bottles and just bring that along.
Oh, wow. Was there a specific trip or a moment on trail where you said, okay, our setup or what we're doing is not working?
Yeah, I think it's mostly in the morning, right? Like we're having a great trip. You wake up in the morning and there'd be nothing better than to have a nice either warm or in California we have some warmer mornings, so a nice cold brew as well. Nothing better than having one of those, and you're just kind of stuck with the solution you have at the time, right? Which for us was either instant or, like Emily said, the French press attachment. And there's levels to it, right? Like, sure, if I'm sitting there at the campsite and that's the campsite we're going to be at for the next couple of days, it's not too much of a hassle to bring your grounds and put it in the French press, boil the water, and then clean the filter afterwards, which is full of loose grounds with, water that you've packed. That's probably fine, right? But when you're backpacking and you're on limited water supply, so it's not great to just be using it to clean out the filter. And you'd like to get up to a sunset hike and not spend so much time, doing what you're doing to give yourself a pretty poor result. That's kind of where at least I realized that there had to be something else. Like we had to try some different things so that we could just get on trail quicker, easier, go enjoy the sunrise, and or conserve the things that we were bringing, right? The water that we had packed. I don't want to be wasting it, trying to clean solutions that deliver me something that I don't really enjoy in the first place. I'd rather just go without it.
So what was that experimenting process like, besides a lot of frustration, getting to that point where, like, I can't even imagine how you would have thought, like, oh, let's use tea bags or let's, like, that whole process, how was that?
Yeah, I can give you a bit of the backstory as to how we actually came up with the idea and where we were. So it was last July, we decided to go on a big road trip up around California and Southern Oregon and hit all the national parks. So that was our goal, to check off all, I think it's 7 or 8 here, all the national parks in California. We were car camping for most of it, kind of pulling up at campsites and then moving the next day. But yeah, visiting a lot of national parks as well as a lot of the west coast of the US too. So it was an awesome trip. On that whole trip, it was summer, so we were making our big batches of cold brew throughout the trip. We had brought like a big cold brew contraption. We were kind of filling it up every few days and then drinking that and then making another supply. And honestly, it was just frustrating trying to clean up that giant contraption in the morning. It was filled with multiple cups worth of coffee grounds. And like Nate mentioned, we had limited water supply. Not all of the campgrounds had running water. So it was kind of tough to clean that thing out. And late one night by the campfire, towards the very tail end of our trip, actually, I was drinking some tea just by the campfire. We were hanging out and I was looking at my tea bag. I'm like, if you can steep tea, why not coffee? And it seemed like such a dumb idea at first. I was like, someone's probably tried this in the past. Like, it probably tastes terrible. There's a reason we're not doing this. But we actually started kind of deconstructing the tea bag, and we tipped all the tea out and just put some coffee grounds in it that we had brought along for that trip. And we put that into a mason jar that we had brought and stuck it in our bear box overnight. And we woke up to like amazing cold brew in the morning, just single serve cold brew with a little tea bag. And that was kind of the moment where we were like, all right, this has to be something. And we started experimenting from there.
Did you immediately think that this would be a product, or did that come like much later?
It was later. I would say that that night when we were experimenting with it, it was just kind of funny. Like we're like, oh, this could be cool. Let's just see how it works. Put it in the bear box, and then we're like, oh, the name is obvious, right? Bear Box Brew. Okay, but this could just be us, right? It just could be for something that we could do. And then you've got a lot of time to think on the drive home. Like we're in Crater Lake at that point, probably, or pretty close, Southern Oregon, and we've got a long drive home. So it's just a lot of thinking, and you get to, like what would the logo look like? And what would, what kind of beans could we do? Would people actually enjoy it? What's actually out there? Like, is there something like it that I could just buy so I don't have to make these? And so, no, it wasn't immediate. It was mostly something for us, right? That, okay, we found something cool that can work for us when we go out. And then it wasn't really until we started bringing them with other people that we would go camping with, and they're like, how are you guys? I mean, this is really good. Like we would make them for other people, and they'd be like, how are you guys making these? I'm like, we're just taking coffee and putting them in our tea bags and bringing them with, guys. Like it's not rocket science, but it is high quality coffee.
It's a trade secret.
Yeah, right. Like no IP to protect here. It's just, kind of a decent idea, and you can do it both ways, right? Like I can do a cold brew. Some people just like cold brew. Like you can put it in the bear box at night, and in California, your nights are in the 40s, 50s. It's perfectly cool. Anything in the shoulder seasons anywhere out in the States is going to be nice and cool as well. So, and it doesn't necessarily need to be cold, right? Cold brew is kind of an interesting term, but it's just, you could sit it out on your table overnight, and you're going to have a nice strong cup of coffee in the morning. You just got to heat it up if you want. So, it was kind of it wasn't instant. It took some time and a few back of the napkin sketches at a couple of breweries to get, like a logo and the name and all of that. And then we were like, okay, we should probably just try this. Like, let's see what it takes to source a bean that we like and get a sachet that works and some branding that we think will really resonate with the people.
I know you've mentioned a couple of things that you face problems that kind of directed you into this way, but what would you say is your biggest problem that you were most determined to solve when you started experimenting?
Yeah, I think it's twofold, honestly. I think it's A, is getting a really good tasting cup of coffee, and B, is doing it with ease. So, all these contraptions, there's so many steps. You have to set it up right. If you're really fancy, you're grinding your own beans at camp as well. That's another thing to pack. And then the cleanup afterwards as well. You need to rinse it all out, find somewhere to put all those grounds. And then there's the other side, right? If you want the ease, there's instant coffee out there today, but that just doesn't do the trick. So those were the two main problems we were going after.
And I could tell you, I always used instant coffee, and I think it's a company out. I don't know why I want to say Alaska, but I think it's at Alaska. And before your product, I always just assumed it's just going to be crappy coffee. I'm just stuck with crappy coffee. At least I have a view.
Right.
So, yeah. So for me, this is pretty amazing to find you guys and start using the product. I love it. So
glad to hear it.
Yeah. So looking back through this whole process that we've kind of went through in the early days, is there anything that you kind of look back and laugh on that I can't believe either this happened to us or we did this?
Yeah. So I think right away, our grand old plan was, well, we're just gonna make these with our own little manufacturing line in our house, and like, okay, we're engineers by trade, and so like I'm gonna bring out this nice manufacturing line. It won't be super complex, but it'll be simple enough to where I could fulfill a bunch of these tea bags, and I'll control how much coffee goes into each one, and I'll seal it to make sure that it's gonna be fresh over the course of time, and we'll set up this whole thing here. And when it came down to just licensing and upfront capital costs to do something like that, and just the overall time that I would have to spend to do that when trying to work our jobs that we currently work now. It's comical, like how much we thought we were going to be able to do, versus, finding somebody who's really good at doing what we do with this product, which is like really, really fine portion control on coffee and making sure that it's nitro sealed to make sure that it, survives months in customers' hands. So for me, I think that's probably the funniest part.
That's the same one I was going to bring up. So,
You don't know until you know, right? So
yeah,
you have, the big idea. Oh yeah, we'll knock this out, and that in reality is, oh, we need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I props to anybody who's currently doing that, like that, whoever is, actually building and, fulfilling that product in their home space or in something that's close to them that, they have obviously, taken a risk and quit their jobs to do that. Right. We found that it just wasn't worth the cost benefit for us. It was simple enough for somebody to do this. So hats off to people who have gotten that to work. And, I think about, one of your previous podcast interviewees who was, they do the backpacking meals, and they do all of them seemingly themselves. And it's just like incredible to kind of hear their process and how they've gone from 0 to 1.
Angry Pica.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. And also, I have a friend, Trucker Joe's, out of Austin, Texas. He makes the water bottle sleeves and pouches and Dyneema stuff. Like, he works his normal day, and then in the evening he's sewing. And he does orders for garage grown gear and Marion Outdoors. And yeah, it's like every time, Joe, you want to come hiking? Oh, I got a garage grown gear order, or I got Marion Outdoors order. So,
and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about coffee in the backcountry, what do you feel, or what should it feel like for hikers?
Yeah, and I think it's honestly kind of a mindset shift, because similar to what you said before, I think a lot of people are just under that assumption of, when you're out in the backcountry, the coffee is going to stink, and that's what it is. So trying to turn that into more of a moment, right? Like, you have this gorgeous view, you've maybe already hiked for the day or are about to set out on trail. So it's exciting whether you've made it up to the top already or if you're about to embark on a really cool hike or something like that. And we want to make that whole experience beautiful, right? Like, not only is the view beautiful, but your coffee tastes really good. It smells really good. Like, you're just starting the day right when you have a good cup of coffee. So that's kind of our goal with having the super high quality beans and the good flavors and the aromas coming out of that.
And why do you think coffee is such a non-negotiable comfort for people in the outdoors?
I think it's a routine, right? Like, it's a routine that they do at home. It's one that we have every day. It's a daily ritual, right? And we put this on our About Us page on our website, but that's what we always intend to do when we are out camping, backpacking. It's enjoying the creature comforts, the routine that you normally would, and getting creative to do that, right? It's it might not always be identical or perfect, but getting creative to make sure that you have a good cup of coffee. You get a shower in every day or two, however you intend to do it, and you sleep well at night, are just great things that will always make your camping trips a little better.
What compromises were you refusing to make when it came to the coffee flavor?
Oh, yeah, definitely just overall quality, all in all. So we wanted something, again, that was, you open the pouch, you can smell it right away. You can tell how good that bean is. Something that's really important to us is partnering with Beyond Fair Trade coffee suppliers as well. So we know exactly where our beans are coming from, and down to the level of what farms, where they farmed at, how are they processing those beans? What are they doing with them? And then following that trail all the way into your cup. So you probably noticed the little cards that came with your boxes that kind of talk about that a little bit, but that's something that's very important to us. We obviously could have gone with much cheaper beans from another supplier and kind of cut corners there, but we wanted to make sure that the coffee was very high quality and traceable, so that people know exactly what they're drinking in the morning.
So once you decided your coffee should require no gear, no cleanups, how did that decision influence kind of like everything else? Like how you made it, how you packaged it, how it's marketed?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that mindset that people have had prior, that it's, I need to carry all this stuff in order to have a great cup. That should be changed. Like I don't want to have to bring on this extra stuff to have a great cup of coffee. And so that starts your design right there, right? Like I have to come up with some solution. We have to come up with something that doesn't require anything extra, right? And that's why the tea bag thing is so like simple and easy. And sometimes the best products and the best ideas are just dumb. They're just dumb simple, you know? Like we're sitting around the fire having tea, and it's like, oh, well, I could put the coffee in there, and then I could put that in the Bear Box, and it's going to have 8 hours to steep while I'm sleeping. Hence the slogan that we've got, the Steep While You Sleeps logo, right? And so, you're taking advantage of all that time sleeping to make your cup. And or, maybe a little 4 to 5 minute steep in the morning if you want it hot. So it's easy enough to do.
Yeah. So what surprised you the most during the early tests and kind of getting to that product?
Yeah, honestly, probably just how much there is to coffee. We drank a lot of coffee before. We really liked high quality coffee, but we didn't know how many different factors actually go into it. So you obviously have like your light, medium, dark roasts, but even within those, you have different countries, different regions where the beans are from, different soils, different temperatures, different climates can all influence that. It's very similar to wine, where you've got like all these factors going into it. Then after they harvest the beans, there's all these different processing methods: washed, not washed, sun-dried, or put in an oven. And then a lot of that is kind of what drives the different notes. So we learned a lot of that naturally just by trying a ton of different beans. We reached out to tons of different coffee bean suppliers. If you look in our pantry right now, there's like an obscene amount of coffee in there just from trying to find our long-term partners. And we kind of learned as we went. We put together a spreadsheet and tried a few coffees every morning, and we were like ranking them and trying to pull out what notes we could taste out of them. That's been a really cool side effect of running this business, is just how much we know about coffee now. And we go to coffee shops in our area, and we feel like we know a lot more about the different origins and which ones we want to try, and asking for specific things in their beans. We love like a pour over style if we go to a coffee shop now, because I feel like that really gives you the notes of the coffee versus ordering like a latte or something a little more fluffy. But yeah, that's been a fun thing to learn throughout the process.
When I got my first order, that card that you mentioned a second ago, I was reading through that and I'm like, oh my God. Like that's crazy. All the locations and it blew my mind. So I definitely felt that it would definitely be, to get where you guys are now, it would be probably a pretty overwhelming process.
Yeah, overwhelming but fun. Like Emily said, we learned a lot. We got to understand what's really important about the beans, and how different steeping it in the morning for 4 to 5 minutes for a hot cup, how different that product is to the one that you steep for 8 hours overnight in just ambient temperature. And I think that what's great about that is people like both. Like we've seen people who love the cold brew, we've seen people who love the quick steep. And so it's just a really cool product. It's super high utility that fits a lot of people's varying needs with no equipment.
And that was one of our requirements too. We needed to make sure whatever beans we went with tasted good hot and cold, because we know people like it both ways. Some people backpack even without stoves and they're cold soaking. So we needed to make sure cold brew was good as well as a hot steep.
So is there a big difference at some of the beans, hot versus cold?
There can be, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it comes out more in maybe the lights than the darks. Mm-hmm. So, the dark roast, the roast profile kind of takes over everything, right? But people really love that. Like people like a dark roast because it's full-bodied, robust, tastes like hard work, like it really gets you going. And then When you do that cold or you do that hot, those same things come out. But when you're to a light roast, they will vary more drastically. There's just not as much in the roast that's coming out in the beans, and you're kind of letting the other things about it, the process, the region, the bean type kind of come out in a cold brew, and you're just getting a slightly different format in the hot steep.
So this is kind of a dumb question. Were there any versions that absolutely did not work, that there was no way that I would put Bear Box Brew on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think there were a few beans we tried that we just, because you're like, okay, we've got this, we want to make sure we have this high quality product, but you're also looking at COGS, and you're looking at like, how can this business survive? And so you're like going down in the list of COGS and going to these other beans, and you're like, there's just a steep drop off where you put this in the bag and you do it cold brew or you do it hot, and you're like, why would I pick this over anything else that's currently out there? It doesn't make any sense. Like I'm already a new product. It has to be better than what's out there. It can't be the same, right? It can't be as if Folgers took their beans, which is no knock on Folgers. I'm a Folgers Maxwell House guy previously, and it's just a great cup of coffee. They've been around for a long time. It's obviously a huge company, but it's got to be better than them taking that bean, putting it in the tea bag and selling it, like we have to stand out in some way.
So how many iterations did it take before you felt confident in the result? Or I could ask it this way, if you had a dime for every iteration that it took to get to where you are now, you would be able to buy a
super nice espresso machine, probably.
Yep. Love it.
No, I could probably pull up our spreadsheet to see how many iterations, but yeah, we tried so many different beans. There were a lot of other factors that we messed around with as well. So grind size was one factor that we tried a lot of different grind sizes for, because there's actually a different optimal grind size for a cold brew versus a hot brew. So we had to kind of compromise there and find something that worked great for both. So tried some different grind sizes. We tried different weights within the packages. So we tried like 12 grams all the way up to 16 grams. Our packages are now at 14 grams, so kind of right in the middle. But we wanted to find something that was, strong enough and tasted great, but also keep it minimal enough to keep our costs down. Because the more beans are going in, the more we have to pay. What else did we try? Times, temperatures. There were a lot of factors.
Yeah, and you want to provide the best cups. You got to provide some guidance, right? So 4 to 5 minutes is what we provide you, but what's great about the product is that you can switch it up. If you want it really strong, you can leave it in there for a little longer. If you like it a little weaker, you can pull it out earlier. So it's kind of up to you to experiment too, which is nice. But you know that the end result is going to be within a very small range of outcomes, which is good, right? I think the other big one was more recently we've noticed as we're going through releasing the light roast, the medium, the dark roast, is getting that bag to sit in the water line. And this is going to get weirdly technical and nerdy probably really quickly, but the dark roasts have more oils that come out because they bake longer. And oil and water don't mix. And so you'll see with the dark roast that the bag will tend to sit higher in the water than the light roasts or the medium roast that we provide. And it's just because of that oil to water mixture, they don't like to mix, right? And so like even with the same amount of coffee in the bag, with even the same bean, if it's roasted differently and it has different oils present, it's going to react differently in that vessel, whatever you put it in.
Wow. Describe that moment when you realize what we just put together is actually really great coffee, and this is what we're going with.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it kind of goes back to that moment at the campsite that I was describing earlier when we had our initial prototypes. And I wouldn't say in that moment we were like, wow, this is going to be a company, but we were at least like, wow, we've created this new great method of making coffee that at least is going to work for us. That's kind of how we started. We just started making them for our own trips and bringing them along on our own backpacking trips. I would say secondarily, the moment where we were like, all right, this could be a company or something that we share with others was when we started getting that feedback from friends that we were out camping with. People noticed it and they were like, what is that? As they're fumbling with their French press and their setup and we already have our cup of coffee and it's already ready to go with no cleanup. They're like, what is that? So that was one of the moments as well where we're like, we should start sharing this with people. There's a great method of brewing coffee and we felt like others deserved to know about that as well.
Yeah, and you realize that it's not just your own bias, right? You can talk yourself into thinking you've got a good idea, right? So hearing it from other people is kind of another aha moment.
Yeah, I talked myself into doing a podcast, and everybody else was like, "What?"
And here you are now, exploring, enjoying, getting to know people through their businesses, and you wouldn't trade it for anything.
Absolutely not. Let's say, how important, when you were kind of doing this experiment and then, getting the right beans and the right amounts, or was it important to actually do the testing in the outdoors, camping, backpacking, hiking, or is it, would doing it kind of like in a controlled environment be okay, like your house?
I would say we did both. So a lot of that testing just happened throughout the week in our own house. We were making cold brew and hot brew every morning and trying them out. I would say it was actually almost like a worst case because coffee actually always tastes better when you're out in the woods, no matter what. Food does
Psychologically.
too. Psychologically, you're eating like food out of a bag and somehow it's like the best food you've ever eaten. So we knew if it was good at home, it had to be good in the wild, but we definitely did test it out and take it out on a few trips just to be sure before we launched it.
During these tests in the outdoors, did it force you to rethink anything about the product, or was it pretty spot on, kind of like what you expected the results to be?
I've got a funny story about that, actually. I think one of our first prototypes we took to the Eastern Sierra. It was just north of Bishop, I think. And we were car camping, and it was in the fall. So we had really nice colors. The aspens in the Eastern Sierra are gorgeous at this time, but it gets cold at night, still down into maybe the 20s. We're engineers, so we understand that anything under 32 degrees is going to freeze. But putting it in the bear box, and waking up in the morning and having it be frozen was kind of a oh shit moment. Maybe you go with the hot brew that day if it's going to be, below freezing up. But, that's just, you learn as you go.
All right, Bear Box Brew, the name. I've heard through, at the beginning of the podcast, some mentions about Bear Box. So what was the moment that Bear Box Brew, like that name said, yep, this is what it's going to be? And then what is the influence of the Bear Box?
Definitely. So it all started with that first day that we were mentioning out in the woods, dumping out tea bags, putting them in our mason jars, and we were car camping, so we had like a little bear box at our campsite where you put all your food and smelly things in at night. We stuck one in there overnight and steeped it and woke up to amazing cold brew, and so that's kind of where the name came from. We brewed it in our bear box overnight, hence Bear Box Brew. Yeah, that's where it was born. I don't know, anything you want to add?
But at that moment, did you know, okay, this is going to be a company. We're doing this?
I don't think we knew in that moment, but fast forward a little bit when we did start brainstorming and putting together business plans, it all went back to that exact moment. So came pretty naturally to us.
Nice, nice. So kind of a personal question. What has been your favorite setting that y'all have enjoyed your cup of coffee?
Yeah, I mean the point is that it's out on trail, right? And I would say some of my favorites are actually in the parking lot at a ski resort called Mammoth Mountain in California. Emily and I are avid skiers, so we spent a lot of time up at Mammoth this year, and just another great plug for the product, right? I don't, we car camp when we go up there because we spend so much time out there. It'd be impossible to, you know, do an Airbnb every weekend. So we do typically car camp. And what's always sucked is having to get out of the car and make a cup of coffee with the French press attachment versus just, putting a little bag inside some water in a mason jar overnight, and or using the jet boil we have to heat up some water and doing a quick steep, right? I don't have to clean anything up. It's kind of the biggest part, right? Like I'm ready to just go ski, and I've had a great cup of coffee and I can just enjoy it and look at the mountain, and I don't got to worry about doing anything else other than that.
Nice, nice. So what does it mean to y'all to run a business as a husband and wife?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, like our goal is really to provide a great product to other people who enjoy the same hobbies that have brought Nate and I together. We did a lot of backpacking and hiking at the very beginning of our relationship, and it's something that brought us together as a couple. And, eventually we got married and moved out to California together, and it's still something we love to enjoy today. So I think just the fact that good products and good company and good places can bring people together is something that we're trying to embody through this business and just share with other people and build that community as we go.
So this is funny because I ask everybody that starts these companies. Anastasia with the Kula cloth, she just figured that, I'm going to be outdoors way more with my products, and that's not the case. But so how do you balance building a business, but still being able to enjoy the outdoors together? Kind of that thing that brought y'all together.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment actually, because we are such a social network driven business, right? Like nobody would know about us if it weren't for, this podcast that we're doing with you and our social media channels and, posting content about us enjoying what we've built, in the trips that we would have normally done anyways. The problem is that, you want to keep that genuine. Like our trips are the same trips, and now it's just making sure that we get a video every once in a while. And sometimes that gets a little, I don't want to call it annoying, because like we're so grateful for the opportunity, and like we're so proud of this business that we've built. But it's always in the back of your mind, like I want to keep this moment, this trip with my wife genuine. And I guess it's just making sure that you're only, just capture your genuine life and your trip as you're enjoying it, right? That's the kind of content, A, that people relate to, and B, the kind that we like to provide. Like, and so when you start out, you're always looking at other companies doing all this stuff, and you're like, oh, do we got to do that? Do I got to like set up all these shots? Do we have to do all this weird stuff that just doesn't feel like us? And so it's, finding that balance, right, where yes, I'm providing good content and we're spreading the word of our business and people are getting to know us, but not making it feel like a job, like turning our time that we love spending with each other out in the wild into work.
Definitely. Yeah. We try to keep it like minimal but high impact at the same time. So take a couple of shots every morning when we're making our coffee out on our trips, but then, shut it off after that and we'll just enjoy our time. I would say I've also kind of started a new hobby because of the business as well. So I was always very intrigued by photography before out on trail. I'd always just, love the views, and my iPhone has never done it justice. I've always wanted to buy a camera, but never really found the reason to do it. It's a big upfront expense, but this business actually gave me a good excuse to do that. So bought a camera. We do a lot of our own content creation, actually all of our own content creation. So all the pictures you see on the Instagram, like either Nate or myself took those. So it's actually been a fun outlet as well, just being able to take my camera out on trail, snap some cool pictures, and then know that we can also repurpose those for the socials as well.
It's funny you say that because I love taking pictures, and you could go through all my social media and I'm busting out hiking picture, thousands per trip, like too much probably. And I always thought like, yep, my phone does good. And I don't like photography, so I don't like the art of ISO and stuff. My phone does a good job, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I took a friend out and I got because all my kids got cameras. So I'm like, forget that. I'm going to get a camera too. The pictures that I came back with,
right,
and the quality versus my cell phone, I was like, what have I been wasting my time for the last 10 years using my cell phone?
Right.
It is night and day. And I feel you. It happened to me. I was popping with my cell phone and proud of it. And then I took the camera out just one time and I'll never go back.
For sure. Yeah, you'll never go back. And we're no experts either, but even that like auto mode does really great wonders. We've taken all our product photos on there, everything on our websites from that camera. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, and it's a good disconnect too, right? Like it's your phone is a lot of things. It's not just your camera, right? So you might get a bar or two here and there, and as you're snapping a picture, you're like, oh, what's this person doing? So I got a text message to respond to. But if you get that put away and you're just using a camera for a camera, it's kind of a nice disconnect there.
For sure. So I love this question. And, you guys made the decision to start this business. What values were important to you from the very beginning? And, you can me as a consumer of your product, I get to read the cards and kind of understand all the really important things for you. But just to tell the listeners, what are some of these important values that, starting this business that were really meant a lot to you all?
Yeah, I think it's a high quality experience, right? So high quality beans, sustainable product development. So from where we get the beans all the way through the product that you see in your hands, it's shipped in the most efficient way possible, with a minimal amount of packing material. And then I think, thirdly, the connection to the places that we enjoy, right? Like you see all of this, right? It's Voyageurs National Park, it's Sequoia National Park. Like these are places that have given so much to us, and we donate back to these places directly without going through any middle like person or people or entity, right? You can go on the nps.gov website and donate through direct check. So, we wanted to make sure that people understood that when you buy something like this, you are supporting the place that gave so much to you, and the place that you really get to enjoy. So I guess to conclude that, right, a high quality experience, sustainable product development, and a connection to these places that have really kind of embodied what we've delivered.
Yeah, just giving back to the earth in general. It's given us so much over the years, so many places to explore, so many beautiful views, so many great experiences, and places to connect with other people. And we wanted to give back to those places that have given so much to us.
Nice. So if you look back at this journey, what's been the most rewarding part so far outside of working with each other?
I think one thing that's really rewarding to me, I spend a lot of time on our social medias and just seeing other people post about the product organically, right? Like we're not paying these people to post reviews. We're not asking people to put anything up. They're just simply trying our coffee and they love it so much that they feel like they want to post about it. And seeing people's like genuine reactions in their videos to trying it the first time, or the raving reviews that they're posting about, that's been really, really rewarding to us. Just knowing that other people out there are enjoying the product as much as we've enjoyed it.
And I think me as a consumer of your product, of Trekker Joe's, of Hilltop Packs, I've been at, like, even when I first reached out to you, there was a coupon or a code that I could get a discount. And I'm like, no, I don't want to use it. I just want to pay full price because I care about you guys. I care about your success. And to the listeners, for me, don't wait for a code. Don't wait for let me send you some free stuff. No, just buy it. Give it a try. It's a great product. You will not be disappointed. And like, I care about you guys. I want you to succeed. I don't want 20% off or 10% off, or, you know what I'm saying? Like you get people that only buy stuff because they get the coupon, or they go to their friend's restaurant and they expect a discount. No, if you care about the people, you don't want the discount. You don't want the coupon code. You want to support them, and you want them to be successful. So.
Yeah, of course. And, we need the feedback too. Like, to the listeners out there, don't be afraid to provide small business owners feedback on their products. It helps them make it better. So,
Absolutely.
it's always something that we've really appreciated about the people that have tried our product, is that they're always brutally honest. And I think people that, backpackers, hikers, through hikers, they're very specific. They're very detailed, a lot of them. And they're going down to the gram to try to figure out how far they can go and have the best time. And so they're not going to mince words about a product that they don't like, which we appreciate.
To the listeners, I've tried both of their products. They're wonderful, and I'm a dark roast person, but I like the medium roast. And what was funny is, never in my life in drinking coffee have I ever tasted like a black coffee and said, I actually can drink this. Took a spoonful, and that was the first thing that popped in my mind, and I started laughing. I'm like, I have never uttered those words. I'm a, flavored creamer guy, and I just laughed. My wife's like, why are you laughing? I go, because I just literally thought I could drink this just like it is.
Man, that's so good to hear. And like, we've had a lot of people say that, right? A lot of people that have just been like, wow, like I don't even want to drink this with creamer. Like it's just good. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Perfect. Like that's right, exactly, right? There's a lot going on with this Voyager's Dark Roast. There's a lot going on with the Guatemala. Like we're putting these beans in there that are super high quality so that you get to experience it, right? And that's not to say that I don't like putting a little creamer in every once in a while. Everybody does, but it's just that first, it's like you said, it's that first, hit of it. And you're like, oh, wow, like I could just drink the whole thing. It's fine.
Yes. And I laugh because that's never been a thought or an utter from my mouth, is that I could actually drink this dark.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
One less thing to pack too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So to the listeners, get on the order. All right. So how does the community show support, and maybe in ways that we may not be able to see?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there actually who just really enjoy supporting small businesses. And that's been a surprise to us as well. We've done a handful of reach out and said, hey, we have this product. Do you want to try it? And people are jumping on it and they're like, yes, we'd love to support, similar to yourself, which we're so grateful for. And that's been one of our biggest growth drivers, to be honest, is just these people who feel some sort of connection to our business and are out there spreading the word without us paying them or incentivizing them in any way. Like, we're not giving these people or telling them to go say certain things. They're just genuinely excited about it and spreading the word. So that's been really awesome to see. And it's been cool to see that community that's been built around it as well. We see people commenting on other people's TikToks where someone's making a coffee with a French press or whatever. And some other person will say, hey, have you tried Bear Box Brew yet? Like,
yeah.
Nice. So that's been fun to see, just the community that's being built around it.
And I can't even imagine being a creator of something that has impacted in such a positive way, something that's so important to people. And not joking that coffee is very important to us hikers and backpackers. Like it is the lifeblood of our existence when we're on trail. But I mean, for you guys just to kind of sit back and go, like, we did this. And I'm not trying to say that you should think that you've made it, right? You should always be fighting. And the impact that you've had so far in the short amount of time with such a wonderful product, to me is spectacular. And I wish I could pat you on the back, like, good job. So
Thank you.
We appreciate that. The P&L sheet is a constant reminder that we haven't made it yet. So we've got that, always to look at to keep us driven.
So what does don't stress, just enjoy really mean to you guys?
Oh man. I think mostly like, okay, so I think part of what my love language is providing an acts of service. So I think it really comes out for me in the idea that I wanted to provide my wife with a nice coffee when we're out camping. And Emily's talked about this previously in the podcast today, but like she had never necessarily done a lot of camping before we met each other. And so it was just like, I want this to be a good experience for you. We'll do extra. We'll like do all this extra coffee stuff. We'll pack a bunch of food and I'll make a great meal just to make sure that, you have a good time and we can, start this off and make this like a lifelong thing. Right. And at some point it becomes like, okay, I want to also enjoy those early moments too, and I don't want to worry about cleaning this press or cleaning all this food that we've packed, right? Like I just want to sit back and enjoy it with you. And so for me, that's how that comes out. It's like, okay, if I've made it in the Bear Box before I wake up, I don't have much to do. If I want to just steep it for 4 to 5 minutes, I'm just sitting there relaxing for 4 to 5 minutes. And I think it's probably a me problem, right? That I always feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. But with this, it's just one less thing. I can just enjoy the coffee and then enjoy the view with my wife.
So has there been anything that this journey has taught you that you didn't expect?
I think we've learned a lot throughout the process, both about, the beans and all that goes into coffee, but also about running a business in general. neither of us have business backgrounds. I think Nate mentioned it earlier, but we're both engineers by trade, which has been really great in the product development side of things and helped us with our experimentation. But neither of us has a lot of business experience. So a lot of that's been just learning on the fly, trying to parse through it ourselves. And it's really a learn as we go, which is fun, but can also be stressful at times when we're, again, looking at the numbers and trying to figure out next steps and, marketing tactics and things like that.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, it's when you're starting a business, and I think other people who are listening to this podcast will resonate with this, it's the job's never over. And, we've created these two cool products, right? But it doesn't go anywhere unless we continuously work to show people that it's here and, provide another great product and like make sure that we're not out of stock and fulfill all the orders. And so it's and do the outreach on social media. And so it never ends, right? Like you start a business and there is a never ending list of to-dos that you could do to further and grow the thing that you've built. And I think that's just something that we've had to learn to live with. Like we're very detail-oriented people that want to cross everything off the list and feel done, right? Like what does done look like? But when you have a business, it's never done. And you just have to be okay with that.
So if you could go back in time and give yourself some advice early on in this process, what would it be?
Set boundaries, to be honest. I think we've been doing a better job about it recently, but there were definitely some weeks and months in the beginning where we were working our corporate jobs all day, 9 to 5, and then getting home from work and working on the business all evening, forgetting to eat dinner sometimes. And then all of a sudden it's bedtime and we're like, oh shit, like, all right, we didn't eat. So we've been better. We've been trying to, make a very succinct to-do list and then figure out what are the 3 top priorities that we need to get done today. Right now our priority is getting more product in stock. That's something that we need to do, but maybe like making content for next week can wait a couple of days, that kind of thing. And then just making sure that we continue to prioritize time with each other too, to make sure that all the time we're spending together isn't all about the business. We got to build our marriage and stay committed to each other as well.
So how would you define success for Bear Box Brew?
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at it a few ways, right? Like, obviously, there is a part of this business that we want to make money over time. Like, it's obvious that nobody's getting into a business to lose money. And so, if it's not sales and if it's not making money, there has to be something else that's driving you because you might not make money right away. I hate to break it to you, but it's a challenge, right? And so I think for us, Emily mentioned it earlier, but it's watching other people's faces when they try it and listening to their reactions. We've had a handful of videos of people that are really great. They're like, here's what we've tried prior, and then here's my husband trying Bear Box Brew for the first time. And it's like this really nice reaction from him. And he's like, oh my God, that's actually good. And that gives you that level. I feel successful, right? I've provided that to one person and I feel successful in doing that. So I think it's just for us, that's how at least I've defined it outside of the profit and loss sheet so far.
And I think for me, I was thinking about that question when I, kind of put them together. And for me, as a consumer of your content and product, like to have been on the market, not a ton of time, and to have the impact that you have, to have the reviews that you have, to have that you can clearly see the impact that you're having on our community. You got to define it as maybe not total success, but it is success. Like it may not be the end game goal, but it's successful. And you too, I hope that you two take a second and just kind of just realize that you guys have done a wonderful job. You've impacted a lot of people in a positive way, and you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot.
What you're saying, looking at the profit and losses and and you kind of just lose sight. Man, we've done a lot and we've impacted a lot of people in a positive way. And that should be a little win, just allow for just to take a break and just realize like you guys have done a great job.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's we sold out of the Guatemalan medium roast, right? Like that's just a great accomplishment. You hope to sell all your inventory, and we did that. And so it's just, it's taking those little wins, like you're saying, and building on it. And it's not going to be built in a day, no matter how much you want it to be. So
what excites you most about the future for Bear Box Brew?
I think just the potential for growth right now. It's been really cool going through our initial inventory and really realizing like, all right, I think we have a good foundation and it's something we can build upon. When we first bought that inventory, right, we had no idea if it was even going to sell, if we were going to even sell one unit. So it was definitely a big financial risk that we took on. But having gone through that first lot of inventory, I think we can kind of see now the future and where we want to go. So it's definitely continuing to scale, continuing to get the word out there. Kitty's making an appearance. She said hi. Just continuing to grow both organically as well as through paid advertising to get the word out there. That's been one of the biggest challenges for us. Just how do we spread the word? How do we get this in the hands of the people who might want to use it and getting connected to the people that are out on trail? And then we also do want to get into retail eventually is a goal as well. So we're in a few small retail like camp stores right now near trailheads and near national parks, but continuing to grow through that sales channel as well.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of people, that are backpackers through hikers. They're doing the PCT right now. Like they don't have an address that's very stable at this point. And so being able to build out a little bit of a supply chain for them as they hit restock locations along the trail would just be awesome. It would be a really great goal for us to be able to have somebody go pick something up at a store and be like, oh, perfect. Like, I know I'm going to have good coffee for the next 3-4 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one learning for sure about the people that are out there on trail not having physical addresses. We have a handful of customers that live like in their car or in their van too, and they don't have like a USPS mailing address. So we've had to get creative a couple of times and sent to PO boxes, and we'll go to lengths to make sure you get your product as long as it's not like an astronomical shipping charge or something like that. But just something we did not think of when we first launched. Of how are these people in vans actually going to get the product?
What excites me most about is I know years from now, you're going to message me and go, Jason, we want to come up with a Guadalupe Mountain roast. Help us.
Oh, yeah. We knew that was coming.
Yeah. I love this question, and I've already given my response to my first sip, but what do you hope people feel when they take the first sip of Bear Box Brew?
Just relief, I think, that they've got something that they didn't have to work super hard for or pack something extra for, and it's still really good. Like that's what I really enjoy. Again, like I was talking about, I sit in the car with all my ski gear on, and I know I don't have to do anything other than enjoy my cup of coffee. So I think it's just, a relief, and it's going to be good. You don't have to worry about it being good, and yeah.
Nothing to clean up after either. You just drink the coffee and then throw away the tea bag sachet, and you're done. So.
All right. So as we start to kind of wrap up the last few questions, if you could leave one message to the Trailblazing Texas podcast community, what would it be?
Oh, go support your national parks. Man, they're amazing. It's something that, us in the US shouldn't take for granted. It's a pretty amazing system we've got out there. So if you're able-bodied and you have the local access to it, just do it. Go out and enjoy it. And have a great time while you're doing it. Bring people with you. Have a campfire. Exchange stories. Like that's what it's all about. So that's what we really love, and we hope you will love it too.
Mm-hmm. That, and I think that, a lot of people think there's a very high barrier to entry to getting out in the outdoors. You see all these Instagram reels and TikToks all the time of the best and latest gear and this and that and this and that. And you feel like you have to buy the nicest tent that's like $1,000 to even go out on trail. And I think the message is like, you don't need the best stuff. Just get out there. You'll learn as you go. It might not be the lightest pack you've ever had the first few times. We were carrying like these giant sleeping bags our first few times backpacking, not backpacking sleeping bags by any means, but we made it work, right? We did many miles in Yosemite with those sleeping bags, many trips in Minnesota. We made it work. So yeah, just get out there, go enjoy the outdoors.
Nice. I love it. All right. Second to last question. This is the most important, the most meaningful question to me. I've asked it a few times to people like yourself that own these companies that support our community. But if you could take a step back in this Bear Box Brew journey and just give one message to everybody that has supported you and believed in you, what would that be?
A huge thank you to everyone who's supported us so far as well. From family and friends to random people that we've met on the internet that have tried our product and given us good feedback. You have no idea how far just like a simple post or a tag or sending it to someone else actually goes for us. Again, like getting this out there is the hardest part. So if you like it, tell a friend, leave us some feedback. It really, really goes a long way. And just thank you for all the support so far. It's really meant a lot to us.
Nice. All right, second most important question. How can the listeners get connected to everything that you are doing? Websites, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like lay it all out. How can they get connected?
Yeah, for sure. So our website is the best way to actually purchase the product. So that's www.bearboxbrew.com. Pretty simple, no spaces, dashes, anything like that, just bearboxbrew.com. And then we're on most of the major social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook today. And that's just at Bear Box Brew. Same thing, no spaces, dashes, just at Bear Box Brew.
Yeah, I got lucky there. All the handles were available. The domain was available. So
Nice.
we're lucky to be, Bear Box Brew across the board.
Nice. Well, I definitely, and I say this at the end of every podcast, and I always, in my mind, think that it's dumb because I don't have the words I don't possess the words to relay how thankful I am for you guys giving up your Wednesday night to come on the podcast. It means a lot to me. And to the listeners, I don't promote products or people that I don't believe in. This is a great group and a wonderful product. And I know I mentioned this before the podcast, and the listeners know my goal is not that one listener goes to your website and buys some coffee, and I count that as being successful. For me, is I want my listeners to buy up all your stock, where you have to message me and say, "Hey, can you tell your listeners to let other people have some coffee?" So that's my goal, and that's what as a podcast host, that means success to me. But yeah, again, to the listeners, give them a shot. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, Jason. It's been great being on with you, and we have a lot of great Texan fans and followers and current buyers of the product. So we really appreciate you guys, and who knows, in the future there might be a Guadalupe Mountains, a Bear Box Brew line coming in the future.
Hey, I'm already working on the flavor profile. And
yeah, what would be good? A medium, a dark? What do you think?
No. It'd be double dark because.
All right, let's go.
Yes, because the Guads, they're more than dark. That she will destroy you.
I love that. Yeah, that's the point, right? You got to connect it. Yes.
But no, all joking aside, I greatly appreciate it. And, I can't wait to get this out to the listeners, and I hope that they support the heck out of you. So
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jason. Yep. Truly means a lot.
All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll be in touch.
Yeah, you as well. Have a great week.
Thanks, Jason.
And that wraps up another exciting episode of the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and stay tuned for our next episode, where we will pick back up where we left off and guarantee to uncover many more hiking gems and share many more tips to enhance your experience on the trail. Until then, happy trails and happy hiking.